Brett, the time has finally arrived. You've seen live ice hockey, but this is your team, this team's time, the opening preseason game of the 24-25 campaign. Year 2 for you. But let's start with the group. Practice this week. You know what this team is made of. It takes a while to develop culture, identity, certainly. But what are the early observations you've made of this team and what this group could look like?
Well, we've had a couple really good practices and very competitive practices, and the guys executed very well. And even though it's just the first couple days as a group, and they, like I mentioned, they also competed very, very hard. So we're happy with the early signs in practice so far.
Some of the guys that we'll see in this game this morning, give me a few names that fans should be watching at home and hoping that they'll take another step, not only so fans can love what they see more, but that you can love what you see more from these players and they can progress with their careers.
Well, I guess we'll start with the back end. Lambos, Spacek, Pert. There's guys that our fans saw last season, obviously very good young prospects. So really looking forward to seeing the next step in their development in these preseason games. Although they are preseason, they're big for young players. You know, they haven't played 100 pro games yet. So every single touch of the ice, every game is big for them, and they're going to play a lot of minutes in these preseason games. So very important for them up front. Sammy Walker, just really excited. I think he's going to have a very, very good year. All signs point to that. So again, here's a guy who's played a couple years pro, but still getting a preseason game, and we're going to ask a lot of him here this morning. So I'm looking forward to seeing him. Hunter Haight is another name the Iowa Wild fans haven't seen yet, but I'm sure they've heard of him through the NHL and Minnesota Wild prospects circles. So he had an outstanding camp in Minnesota, and again, looking forward to seeing him in an Iowa Wild jersey. So that's just a few names of that people can listen for.
Speaking of the blue line, which is still young, but it won't feel nearly as young as it was last year, What can fans look for and say, Lambos is taking that next step, Spacek is taking that next step? What are the details that you're looking for and hoping to see sooner than later this season? Yeah,
well, I think with all young defensemen, and it seems like an easy task, but just to make that first simple play. Sometimes they hold on to the puck for too long, and that's all young defensemen when they turn pro. That's not just the ones that we're lucky to have on our team. So I think you see they're just playing a good, clean game where they're getting the play, they're seeing the play, and they're moving the puck. And we've definitely seen, again, really good signs of them in Minnesota's training camp that they're starting to grasp that and do it on a real consistent basis.
Relatively similar look to the staff this year. You do bring on Nate McKeever as an assistant. One of the big changes, GM Matt Hendricks. You and Matt shared very similar stories, how you got to the National Hockey League. It really weaponizes this staff to help these kids get exactly where you guys did as players. What has he brought? What's he brought to the organization? What has your relationship been with him like so far?
Yeah, it's been we've had a great start to. Obviously, we've been work colleagues and friends for a long time, but it's been a great start to our working relationship, him as GM and myself as head coach, obviously. Matt brings an energy to the role. He brings a hockey knowledge, a hockey passion. He's a hockey guy, first and foremost. Hunting and fishing are probably a close second and third, but he's a hockey guy through and through, and literally fought his way to the National Hockey League. And so he takes care of every detail, and he thinks through every decision and really cares about everyone on our staff. And you mentioned Nate McKeever, and when just a quick story, when he flew into development camp this summer, when he just signed the job, Matt Hendricks went to the airport and picked him up. Just those are little details that maybe people don't see, but when people in management, when anybody does that for their staff members and new staff members, so those little things are why Matt's already kind of setting himself apart, and shows why he's such a quality person. Is going to be a fantastic GM for us.
Little details indeed. Brett, thank you for this time. Good luck this morning, and happy hockey season.
Thanks, Benny. Good to be back.